Hi everyone, I'm your host, owner, and creator of The Mix. Welcome to my channel. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Go ahead and like this video, share this video as well, and subscribe to my channel for those who are digitally passing by and have yet to subscribe. Go ahead and hit the subscription button, and then everyone hit the notification bell. As you can see what this video is going to be about. Yes, Mr. Tory Lanez speaks. The gag order is lifted. It's been lifted for about a month or so now. And if you go over to my video section, there is a video published on the gag order being lifted and who would Tory do his first interview with, or if he would speak through a team of attorneys or his PR team, whomever. And finally, Mr. Lane's name is Daystar Peterson. So yes, he speaks to the public. And let me go ahead and play this clip again. Like, share, subscribe to the mix. Like, share, subscribe. And if you hear some background noise, I'm in my car headed to the gym. So yeah, let me go ahead and play this clip for Mr. Daystar Peterson, aka Tory Lanez. And finally, he speaks. It's about time. He has actually, in my opinion, been silent since day one. Since day one, I don't know, and I'm confused as to how he was picking on someone or bullying someone back then. From what reports had said, that wasn't the case. Mr. Lanez has no control over bloggers, reporters, none of that. So in my opinion, I believe that was a false narrative put out there to silence him from speaking the truth. But nevertheless, I digress. Here is what Tory Lanez had to say. This is a call from prison. I don't know who this was to, but it has been released.
Dear George Gascon, I write this message with the utmost humility, love, and respect for the remarkable steps that you've taken in regards to fighting for the justice of Black and brown minorities. Today I take a stance as an innocent Black man, wrongfully convicted of a crime I did not commit. I've watched two district attorneys from your office by the names of Kathy Tarr and Alex Bott unlawfully misuse their authority to hide and suppress any and all exculpatory evidence that exonerates me and furthers my innocence. I was completely robbed and deprived of a fair trial. So on May 8th, my lawyers will be arguing a motion for a new trial. Not only do I owe it to myself to fight for my freedom, but I owe it to my 6-year-old child, my family, my fans, and most importantly, the hundreds and thousands of Black and Hispanic minorities that cannot adequately fight for themselves. For 3 years, the prosecution has manipulated a false narrative that has left me with no choice but to expose the practices, the behind-door deals, and the unjust system that was used to illegally convict me and countless other minorities. We elected you because of your outstanding eminence in making fair and correct judgments in the justice for people of color. Mr. Gascon, I come to you today as a wrongfully convicted Black man, not asking for sympathy nor compassion, but for you to simply do what is fair and right in the laws of California, and most importantly, in the eyes of God.
There you have it. There you have it. Mr. Tory Lanez speak. Government name Daystar Peterson. Yes, he speaks. He speaks. He speaks. Finally, in everything he said, I agree with. I've been stating this from the beginning. This is a miscarriage of justice. I've been stating this from the beginning in regards to prosecutors or state's attorneys coloring inside the lines. I said that when it comes to R. Kelly case as well. You can't win playing dirty. You see what happened with Bill Cosby. That is a prosecutorial misconduct, prosecutorial overzealous prosecutors, prosecutorial ethical questionable ethical behaviors. That's not how the justice system works. In the interest of justice, I hope and pray that Judge David does the right thing and grant Tory Lanez the motion for a new trial. And keep in mind, everyone, you're hearing this on the mix. If Judge David grants Tory Lanez motion for a new trial, it's up to the prosecutors in the state of California to decide if they're going to go ahead and retry this case all over again. They can actually say they're not. So that is why, in my opinion, Tory Lanez is setting this up because he spoke this to the district attorney. It's basically a letter for the district attorney. He spoke this to the district attorney, meaning, in my opinion, and I don't have any, hidden behind the scenes information. I'm just going based off of this is my prediction and based off of my experience and my skills and knowledge in this industry. Based off of my opinion and based off of my background, I do believe this was a perfect first time I'm not going to say interview, but basically he spoke. Okay, this is great. I believe he is setting this up for an event. Judge David grants Tory Lanez a motion for a new trial. He's setting this up, whereas they do not go through with this again. So again, it's up to the DA's office, the prosecutors in the state of California to say, hey, if Judge David grants Tory Lanez a motion for a new trial, hey, do we want to go through this again? Because mind you, the taxpayers is paying for that, or do we want to send MTS or the alleged victim through this again? Do we want to go through this again? Because it costs to go through this again. You see what they did to Bill Cosby? They did him the same way, but it was a hung jury with Mr. Bill Cosby's case. So the prosecutors in Philadelphia have the option to say forget it or try him again, because I believe the first time around with Mr. Bill Cosby, it was a hung jury or something like that. The prosecutors went after Bill Cosby again. They made the decision. So they spent even more money. And the second time around, they landed a conviction. However, hence with Bill Cosby, because he hired Jennifer Bonjean, Pitbull in a skirt. I say that respectfully. Attorney Jennifer Bonjean, go to her website. She is now representing Mr. R. Kelly on his appeal. Bill Cosby was the the justices of the Supreme Court in Philadelphia, the higher courts, granted Mr. Bill Cosby's appeal and conviction overturned. Thankfully for attorney Jennifer Bonjean. So the justices in Philadelphia overturned Mr. Bill Cosby's conviction. Again, Mr. Bill Cosby should not have ever been prosecuted. Again, R. Kelly should not have ever been prosecuted. And again, Mr. Tory Lanez, government name, Daystar Peterson, should never have been prosecuted. And I'm speaking, you guys, from a legal perspective based on my experience and background and how this industry is navigated. If you want to really prosecute someone, you better have your ducks in order. You better have your T's crossed and your I's dotted. You can't do anything unethical. And in Mr. Tory Lanez situation, I do not believe he is guilty at all. I do not believe that. I don't. I think it's more to the story. I do not believe he is guilty of intentionally whatever they said he did. I do not believe it. So there you have it. I will hop back on here probably later when I leave the gym. This is just something really quickly. I'm not going to be recording the gym content anytime soon. I kind of been off, so I'm like looking a mess, all of that. But nevertheless, so like, share, subscribe to the mix. Like, share, subscribe. You heard it here. Mr. Daystar Peterson, aka Tory Lanez, speaks. And again, I believe he's setting this up for an event. Judge David grants Daystar Peterson, aka Tory Lanez, a new trial. It is up to the prosecutors, the DA of California, to say, hey, do we want to go through this again? Because they are spending taxpayers' money. Do they want to go through that again? They got to go through the witnesses. They got to go through the jury selection, all of that. So, and I'm just hoping and praying that Judge David grants the motion for a new trial. And again, it'll ball back in the prosecutor's court. They probably going to be pissed, but it'll be back in their court. So are you going to do this again? Yes or no? And if they say no, Tory Lanez will go free. And that's, again, if Judge David grants the motion for a new trial. So there you have it. Like, share, subscribe, drop a comment. What are your thoughts on this audio release? I'll go ahead and probably hop back on, like I said, later, and maybe do a little more deep dive into actually what he pointed out in his in this letter and what he spoke to the DA's office. And I will talk to you all soon.